Breaking Bad movie starring Aaron Paul is set to come to Netflix this October. That is the headline on this week's MBE Movie News.
And John, we're going to kick off the show with this news coming in. Breaking Bad movie starring Aaron Paul, as you said, coming to Netflix this October. I know you're very excited about this, John.
I certainly am.
Breaking Bad fan back in the day, 6 years ago since it finished.
And
it will follow the story, as we know, of Jesse Pinkman, the excitable meth cook and former partner of Walter White.
Stephen, he's very excitable. The man is synonymous with the character of Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul, that is. Yeah. Obviously, he reinvigorated the word bitch for a whole new generation of film fans, TV fans, anyone alike. I mean, I started using that in my vocabulary a lot more often than prior to watching Breaking Bad. And that was all down to...
Cool.
He made it very cool.
Yeah.
And that was all down to that chap, Stephen. So I love the character, first things first. So I'm very excited to see that the movie will be centering on Jesse Pinkman. Because Breaking Bad, although it was almost a dynamic duo in most parts of that story, that great story, it was more focused on Bryan Cranston's Walt White character. Obviously Heisenberg, his descent into this deranged, unhinged meth cooker. I don't want to say dealer, he was never a dealer. He was more of the master puppeteer who was playing everyone around, and he was cooking it using his scientific skills. He was a chemist, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen it. But Stephen, the fact that Vince Gilligan is involved, it's been confirmed he wrote the movie. He's involved with the script. He's wrote the movie, John. That's writing movies. Usually involves being involved with the script. Stating the obvious there, but the fact he's involved, I think he did direct it as well. That excites me. Yeah. Because this man created the whole TV show, and he's proven time and again, Stephen, in the past with his great forays into the X-Files. With I think he produced over 100 episodes, 200 episodes, directed a few. That he knows this world, he knows the characters within. Aaron Paul says...
That's the same world, isn't it?
It's the same world as the X-Files, I think the cigarettes and whatnot are all the same. I think the banks and stuff like that, share that little thread of connection. But Aaron Paul says, Stephen, that he wasn't 100% sure about getting into this movie again. He felt that after the end of the finale of Breaking Bad, that he was finished with the character. He was saying goodbye. Very emotional end. He's obviously driving away in a Chevrolet El Camino, which is where this movie is getting its title from. And he was fleeing into a new life. He was a little bit cautious about stepping back in, but he says that he was speechless after reading the script for a solid 30 to 60 seconds, and then he was right on board. But Stephen, what do you make of this? I know you haven't watched Breaking Bad, so it's going to be difficult for you to speak about it, but is this perhaps something that may catapult you into the world of Breaking Bad? If you pop in and watch this and it grabs your attention, the standard's there.
It depends, John, on how this story plays out. You touched on it with the X-Files, John. Anyone who didn't follow the television series could easily just jump into that first movie and enjoy the movie for what it is.
Great standalone movie.
Relate to the characters as well. If they do it like that, and I think that's the way they will do it, I could be on board. I have seen the odd episode, John. I never really took to it, to be honest with you. I'm not saying it's a bad TV series or anything like that, but I was probably watching other things at the time. I couldn't really give it my full focus. But I think, to answer your question, I will watch this. It's on Netflix. I've got Netflix. It's only a couple of months away. I like Aaron Paul as well. I think he's a terrific actor, and he's a good guy as well. He's a very likeable chap. I'll give it a go, and if I like it, then I might go back. I think Breaking Bad's still on Netflix anyway, the complete...
I think it is,
box set, so why not?
Stephen, you have to go and watch Breaking Bad. I must urge you. It is one of the greatest TV shows, if not the greatest ever created. Some people would say The Sopranos. I say Breaking Bad because I've never seen The Sopranos. Shock horror. So, Stephen, I urge you to watch it. But I find it intriguing. Final thing I will add before we move on. Just the concept of it falling him off into perhaps, I don't know where he's going, but just the fact it's falling him, as I did say, without repeating myself. And the one line they mention in a plot summary that in order to come to terms with what's happened in his past, and he's going to have to forge a new existence essentially, but to do that he'll have to come to terms with his past. I find that intriguing, and I feel that this may be a way for them to perhaps get Bryan Cranston back as Walt White or Heisenberg in some way.
Yeah.
Obviously, he sacrificed himself to help Jesse Pinkman flee from this, I think it was a white, sort of a nationalist group or something like that. I can't recall. It's been a while since I've seen it, but they were kind of beating the shit out of him and whatnot. He helped him escape. Then he also dies in the lab at the end. Spoiler alert. Sorry, you've not seen it, but it's...
I think that was common knowledge, John.
Common
it's been
knowledge.
out for, finished 6 years ago. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah, but just, I think this is a way for them to get him back, and I'd love to see Bryan Cranston coming back and reuniting, even for a few short flashback sequences. Love to see Bob Odenkirk coming back. I know Better Call Saul's on a hiatus, so if we can get all the gang back in some way that's organic, maybe through flashbacks or just, I don't know how they do it, but I just want to see it happen. And just the fact, Stephen, finally, that they've already shot this movie. I didn't even realise the thing was in existence until the trailer dropped. The fact they've shot it all in New Mexico, on the sly. Adam Paul's managed to keep it under wraps, and Vince Gilligan's managed to keep it under wraps, and that we will be getting it so soon is very exciting indeed. And again, it just shows you Netflix and how they are. I think there was rumours of
it, John, that they were thinking about doing it, but we never heard anything since then. So it's all in the can, and it's just ready to be premiered. Talking about premieres, John, on theatrical rollouts, etc. You have to bear with me. I've got a terrible sore throat. I think I've got a cold in August. It's mental, but this is Scotland. Yes. Listen, The Irishman's getting a November release date and a theatrical rollout now. Both of us are very excited about this film's release, John. Certainly the trailer intrigued us enough, and some of the shots in that surprises how well it was made as well for the de-aging process, John.
Yes.
But what they're saying here is that it's going to have a limited theatrical run in early November. They're talking about, I think, the 1st of November, and then a week later, 1st of November in New York and Los Angeles. Well, you can explain the reasons and the theories for that, John. Yeah. A week later, it will be getting expanded out to more markets on the 8th of November, and then it will hit Netflix on November 27th. Giving it an exclusive window of just over 3 weeks in the theatres, which is enough time.
It is more than enough time, Stephen, and it's, I think, is that confirmed to be the widest and most lengthy wide release for a Netflix movie? I don't know if that's true. I know they did it with Roma, but I think they did it perhaps with that Norwegian one, July 22 or something, about the bombing of, I think, Oslo. Yeah. But I think this may be the longest wide release, and again, it just shows you the development of the streaming service itself, Stephen. This new sort of a horizon for entertainment that we are starting to see muddy the waters a little where we're getting these streaming services or movies from streaming platforms like Netflix starting to get wide releases. But I think, Stephen, primarily, you mentioned it with the Los Angeles and New York thing, that's clearly just to make it eligible for the Academy Awards. So they have to have at least 1 week showing in a theatre in Los Angeles for it to be eligible for an Academy Award. So they're doing that. They're opening it up wider just purely because it's so anticipated for film fans and just wider demographics. The fact this is the first time we're getting to see Robert De Niro and Al Pacino sharing some great screen time. Not the first time. Also they were in Heat. Yeah. But it was very brief, wasn't it? It was like a dinner setting or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen that as well. But this is the first time I think we'll see the two guys together for some real extended screen time. We're getting Joe Pesci back as well. Out of retirement. And Martin Scorsese, anytime he comes on board with a story like this with these incredible actors, that is going to intrigue everybody, not just film fans, but everybody. So I think that's the reason why he's been able to flex his muscles, what's left of him, and get this into a wide and lengthy wide release before it hits the streaming part, the service. Stephen, I'm very intrigued. I don't know if it will come over here. They say it's going to be showing in just 250 locations in the States. Yeah, and I think usually, I don't really look at the United States box office figures all that often, but I think big releases usually get somewhere in the region of 1,500 to 2,500 theatres. So 250 is very limited.
I don't mind, John.
How would that translate to here? Perhaps the Glasgow Film Theatre?
I doubt it very
much. Would you go if it went to the film theatre?
I probably would, but I don't mind, to be honest with you. I've been waiting for maybe about 10 years for this film. It's been in the works for about a decade now. Another few weeks will not bother me. Certainly, for the experience of watching it in a theatre, yes, I certainly would take the chance, but If it's not to be, it's not to be. I'm not going to worry about it. It is interesting, obviously, and I think you're right about the theory and its release at that time, John, and its run, obviously, to qualify for the Academy Awards. Is this the thing that the likes of Steven Spielberg is annoyed about? Is this what he was initially annoyed about with Netflix? Or was it? It might have been the actual box office.
I think it was the box office. They don't declare box office figures.
That's right,
in the run up to the award season, so they can essentially spend whatever the hell they want on promoting the movie, and we have no real clue as to how it's performed in terms of success. They don't release any figures unless it's very positive Netflix. So I think that was the general issue with Spielberg. That and the fact that it doesn't get a wide enough release in theatres. He feels like, as we've said time and again, Stephen, that it's all about that communal experience, the traditional experience of going to a big screen and watching it with strangers. And he's all sharing a common, obviously, love and appreciation of the art on the screen. That's what he wants to see. He feels like if it's going to be worthy of an award, like an Academy Award, Best Picture, then it should be experienced in its purest form, not on a TV show or on a TV screen or on an iPad or something like that.
Fair dues,
I can't believe Harvey Keitel's in there, and I didn't know. I've just discovered Harvey Keitel is in this movie.
There you are.
Good Lord, what a cast.
Yeah, it's the Fab Four, all
The
back together
Fab
again.
Four indeed, Stephen.
But listen, we'll move on, John.
Yes.
My voice is away. We'll move on, John, to our next article. This is to do with the Halloween sequel. I think it's got its name now, Halloween Kills, and it's confirmed that Anthony Michael Hall is joining the horror sequel. He is going to be playing and portraying Tommy Doyle. I don't know if you remember Tommy Doyle, John.
You told me, Stephen. I didn't.
You don't recall him. He was, I think he was one of the kids from the original movie, the character that is, not Anthony Michael Hall. I think he was probably just maybe about 3 when that came out, so he wasn't one of the kids. But he was one of the kids that Laurie Strode babysat the night Michael Myers did his dirty deeds. Yes. And the character was reintroduced in the 1995 The Curse of Michael Myers, and Paul Rudd played him. I'll let you in here, John, because I need a drink. But what's your feelings on this? Because Anthony Michael Hall, last thing I saw him in, I think, was probably The Dark Knight, where he played the TV reporter.
Yeah.
I think he got done in by the Joker. But I mostly remember him as a kid, child actor from The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, and obviously
Weird
Science and Rusty Griswold in the National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yes, Stephen. I didn't actually know he was in National Lampoon's. I cannot believe it. How did I not know that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I know him prominently from Weird Science. That was a movie I get battered with when I was younger. It's just strange.
Yeah.
When you watch that movie and you get the concept of it. Shouldn't have been watching that at my age. But Stephen, he's an accomplished actor. He's not been in much since The Dark Knight. Not that I can see
anyway. He was in a television
series.
He
was in War Machine.
Yeah.
The Brad Pitt movie War Machine, which I haven't seen yet, incidentally. Perhaps I need to go and watch that. But he's an intriguing actor, and it's an intriguing casting, Stephen, perhaps giving away the plot. That we will see Michael Myers perhaps turning his attention towards Tommy Doyle in the next Halloween Kills movie. Incidentally, I like that title. That's stating the obvious, he does kill.
Getting that title.
Yeah.
It ends, or whatever it's called.
It ends, is that what it is? Oh Lord, no.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it does end.
we knew it was going to finish after
Pennywise
chapter 2.
Is a supernatural, obviously killer clown who has to meet his end.
Some might say that about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Supernatural. Certainly in those sequels he was supernatural.
Stephen, there was a rumour going around though, which I will get in here. Into here.
Why
if I
not?
Can speak. That the Michael Myers we've seen in the Halloween quasi sequel.
Yeah.
Had to put that in inverted commas there because that's the new rage in Hollywood, quasi sequels and parallel stories within the same universe and whatnot. But getting back to it, I'm going off on a tangent. There was a rumour that he was not a clone, that it wasn't Michael Myers, it was someone masquerading as Michael Myers. And that obviously he's died or perished.
Jake Myers.
He's perished in that basement. And now we're getting the real Michael Myers coming. Or perhaps it was Michael Myers, Stephen. And Tommy Doyle has been so deranged and screwed up in the head by what he witnessed in the first Halloween movie that he is copycat killing in the vein of Michael Myers. I don't know how big Tommy Doyle was. I'm just making this up as I go along here, Stephen. I have to say there's no basis in this whatsoever. This is coming from the warped head of me. But look, it's very intriguing, Stephen. I'm intrigued to see more of this story. I did enjoy the first Halloween, not the first Halloween, the Cozy reboot.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the first Halloween. It's one of the greatest slashers of all time, if not the greatest. But I enjoyed that Cozy reboot. I felt there was elements which were slightly disappointing. I just felt like they focused on the granddaughter way too much and not enough on Jamie Lee Curtis for me. She was built up in the trailers and waiting on him, and I felt like just lacklustre in certain elements. But it was okay. It was a decent enough slasher, full to the brim of nostalgia from the original. And I feel like if they can take that vibe over, take some of the creepiness of the character, because certainly that scene with the little fat guy, I think it was fat anyway, in that dark garden, when he's floating around, Michael Myers, that was very creepy.
Yeah,
if they can take more of that over and arm it with a great story, then I'm on board. I can't believe Paul Rudd was in Halloween. I didn't know that. What the hell was he doing?
And he looks exactly the same as he does now.
Yeah, he's also in that Keanu Reeves.
Anthony Michael Hall doesn't look like Rusty Griswold anymore, but he's a good actor, John, and you know, it's one of those characters that a lot of horror fans remember, certainly from that fifth instalment that Paul Rudd starred in. Definitely not from the original film, but
Halloween Ends, Stephen, is the name. There's 2 sequels on the go here. We have Halloween Kills coming out next year, October 16th, and Halloween Ends will come out the following year in October 15th.
It's a trilogy of films,
perhaps we're doing an Avengers Endgame Infinity War thing again, where they've shot the movies back to back, they're in the can, and then they're just
possibly is that. Yeah, probably is that, John. If they're a year apart, it makes sense. And it's obviously going to come out at Halloween, which makes sense as well. But having Anthony Michael Hall in there, he's a well-known face, has been for the past 35 years, on and off our screens. So he's a good actor, good calibre of actor, and amongst the already established actors in there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, John. But we'll move on to our final article this week. It's Simpsons confirm movie sequel and spin-off talks with Disney. Now, I don't know if it actually says what the spin-off is. I was more focused on the actual movie sequel, John. I've said to you maybe about 3 months ago, I don't see the point of a sequel to the Simpsons movie. The first movie was terrible. And I was a big fan of Simpsons for over 20 years. I kind of stopped watching it maybe about 5-7 years ago. It just lost its edge to me, to be honest with you. So it's very surprised to see that it's getting sort of a new life, but maybe it's not, because Disney see the potential of, obviously rebooting these things, making more money, making more toys, that kind of thing.
That's exactly what it's about, Steve.
So they're going to flog a dead horse. Homer Simpson was one of my heroes growing up, one of the funniest guys I never met, and the whole host of that's the washing line scene. With
one of the greatest
he's going to get tired.
Episodes. Yeah, he'll tire himself out.
So Lisa's first words, I think that was the episode. So what's your thoughts on this, John? Because firstly, on the movie sequel, does it warrant a sequel? Is it time that they probably might have right some wrongs, like James Gunn's doing with the Suicide Squad? And the spin-off, what's the possibilities? Will we maybe get a cop show? Chief Wiggum, I'd watch that.
Stephen, there is a whole load of possibilities for the spin-off. In terms of the sequel to the movie, I don't think there's any need for a sequel to that movie. I thought it was a very good standalone movie. I'd actually forgotten about it until we spoke about it a month back or so, a month and a half back. Yeah. I think it was the director or producer from the show who was involved in the original movie, was saying that he's seen an opportunity for this to perhaps have a sequel, with the whole Disney-Fox merger being confirmed and all falling into place. But you also brought me back up to speed with the plot. It was that big alien thing with the sphere coming over, obviously, Springfield. It was a great little movie. It performed very well at the box office. It surprised me, actually, looking back at the box office numbers. So you can understand why perhaps Disney are seeing scope there to come out and do another movie. Perhaps they see a whole new generation of fans perhaps getting in and watching this, and then they'll go back and consume it all, which will be available on Disney Plus, incidentally, every single episode. So that is another reason to get on to Disney Plus. Maybe I have to go back and binge all of the old Simpsons episodes, because it was one of the greatest cartoons of its time and my time. It spanned so many generations. Stephen, you says Bart was your hero.
Homer was.
Oh, Homer, sorry. Homer, Bart and all the rest of the gang were certainly my heroes, cartoon heroes growing up. They were simply hilarious, some of the things that happened. We were speaking about the secret shame as well, when Bart goes to live with Mr. Burns and catches Homer eating the flowers in the bathroom. There's so many great things. That sounded like a pig falling, things like that. In terms of the spin-offs, so Stephen, there is a whole host of possibilities. As you did say, a police show would be incredible. I think there's scope to do a sort of a Stranger Things vibe with all the younger kid characters.
Ralph.
Off in a journey, paranormal things, alternate universes. I think there's scope there for a standalone, perhaps Krusty the Clown.
Maybe we could see Patty and Selma in some kind of Golden Girls sitcom.
It wasn't Krusty the Clown. What was he called, Stephen? The villainous character who hated the absolute life of Bart. What was he called again?
Sideshow Bob,
Sideshow Bob. Perhaps we could get a Sideshow Bob
voiced by Kelsey Grammer.
And understand why he hates Bart so much. Maybe Bart's raiding his house at night.
I think did he not, it was him that got him...
You got him jailed,
Got him jailed a few times, wasn't it?
Yeah. But Stephen, there's a whole host of possibilities for
perhaps Moe's, we could have sort of a Cheers vibe, sitcom.
Yeah,
Moe's.
Moe's, it would be good. There's a good few possibilities for standalone spin-off shows.
I want to see a cop show with Wiggum.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. Stephen, I'm more on board for the spin-off element. Maybe updating the animation to a modern animation style and getting a new generation of people on board. They've been doing it with their animated movies. I see no reason why they can't do it.
Have you ever seen the humanised Homer face though? Wouldn't go that far, John. It's terrifying.
No, you're right. It's almost like that Beavis
and Butthead. They did an episode where it was all in 3D. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if it was maybe one of the Halloween sort of weird ones, but Homer entered some kind of three-dimensional world, and it was all the characters were like morph, that kind of style.
That's weird. I've not seen that one. Strangely. I'm glad I've not.
No, it was good. But I'm on board for any spin-off like yourself, John. But as far as sequels, I'm not that too perturbed about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Stephen, I'm getting not much more to say about it, so I'm going to round up the show on that note. That is the end of this week's MB Movie News. If you've got anything to say about the myriad of different topics we have spoke about on this week's show, then you know what you can do. You can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are on them. Like the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Both me and Stephen will be back for MBE Blog Rundown.